Oh man, another day. Let's see how this turned out. So yesterday we sprayed the final coats on this. Oh, this looks great. It's nice and smooth. Kept our shop dust free, which is amazing, so then nothing really landed on it. Yeah, this is really nice. Man, that turned out great. You can still see the wood grain in there a little bit, which gives it a nice texture. That's great. That's good. And then the stairs are good. The hatches are nice. And then this stuff here, these four there they have got 4 coats on here. But this stuff needs to be sanded one more time and then another double coat on there to finish that up. And like I said yesterday, we did the upstairs in the house too. So let's go check that out. This house has kind of been a team effort with the homeowner and us. We're a custom builder, just build one at a time. And this one, the homeowner wanted to do some things as well, just to keep costs down and you know, everything that they can do, they want to do it. It's really nice when you have a homeowner that wants to actually do some work themselves, because then they're a little bit more invested into the house. When they live in it, they can remember, you know, they put up all of this interior walls, and as they're sitting on the couch, just thinking about how many hours it took to do stuff. It's a really good feeling when you have some investment into the project itself. So yesterday we clear coated the bathroom and everything up in the loft, upper loft section. So I can definitely feel this is kind of rough a little bit. This needs to be all sanded today, so we're going to go through 220, sand this all smooth, and then spray on another 2 coats all in here. And then once this is done, once this is all sprayed, and that's all sprayed, then the ceiling is going to go in. And we've got ceiling planks that are about 7 inches wide, and they're going to run, and I think there's 7 or 8 different stain colors on them. So it's going to really be a real amazing accent piece. This whole ceiling is going to look really amazing. So I can't wait to see that. And that's it. I don't know if I need to give you a tour, because you probably see it at some point here. So I think that's our day, is sanding in here and clear coating that. And I don't know, I'm sure there's a bunch of things that we'll have to do. So I'll just get to it. Ooh. So what I'm doing is just doing a real light sanding, hand sanding, with 220 on this. This stuff had the first coat, and when you put that first coat on there, it kind of raises any of the imperfections in the wood. And I don't know if you can see this really good. There's like little dots all over this thing, if you can see that. And what I'm trying to do is just sand that smooth again, so then it's nice and smooth. And you can feel it with your hand when you're hand sanding. Some people would take a power sander to this, but this layer isn't very thick, so a power sander would actually burn through this coat and potentially burn through your stain, so you'd get a little light streak there. It happens a lot on the edges, so you got to be careful around the edges. So we're just doing a quick 220 hand sanding, and then we'll buff this off, or just blow this off and take a tack cloth and clean that up. It doesn't take much to knock that down to make it smooth. Just kind of a quick hand on there, and it's done. The other thing that this sanding does is give the next coat something to adhere to. So this 220 is actually putting little tiny scratches in here. So when that next coat goes on there, it can grab inside those little tiny scratches and just adhere better, so it stays on the wood a little bit better. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do anyway, so. And this is just a quick little deal. Just maybe a minute. Feel it. Make sure that there's no high stuff, no rough edges. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on here. Just real light. And that's done. And these 2 guys are done. Whenever I stack stuff, I always put it face to face or back to back, because those 2 faces are nice and clean. So I know that those are good and they won't scratch each other. where if I were to put it back to face, there might be something on there that's going to make the other ones get scratched, and we don't want that to be scratched. So grab a couple more of these bad boys. And I always go with the grain. So if you look at this wood has this grain pattern that's this direction. So this is where all of the strands of that wood are oriented. So when you sand with the grain of the wood, when you scratch this, you're scratching it with the grain of the wood. If you scratch it across the grain, you'll see a streak, or it'll mar that grain of the wood. So you always want to sand with the grain. So then if there's anything that's noticeable, it'll get covered up with the rest of the wood. So. I used to work on boats, classic and antique wooden boats. They were just wood from, pre-war, pre-40s, Chris Crafts and Shepherd and Century boats. And I would sand and sand and sand 8, 10, 12 hours a day. Just hand sanding. Everything was hand sanded. We used a power sander a little bit, but pretty much most of it was all hand sanding. So I've got, thousands of hours of sanding done under my belt, I guess. When I do this, I don't know if you can see this too, the palm of my hand actually stays on the board, so I'm feeling this board as I'm sanding. So when I'm sanding with my fingers, I'm feeling behind it so I can feel any imperfections. So it's kind of like a 2-in-1 technique, really. Never have any rings on or anything like that could scratch that finish. Just do it real quick and feel it. I know I should probably stick it in there. I'm just going to put this underneath. That's real cool. You getting all this? Yeah. This is good. This is how we roll here at Bindwest Journey Living. Okay, so this is it. We're done for the day, which we had Matt came up. This is Matt. Hi. Hello. He came up and sanded all of the interior of this sucker so we could clear coat all of that. And then we did one final coat of clear, or two coats, I guess. So we spray a base coat and then a next coat. So all of these have 4 coats on them. And as you know, yesterday we did all of this stuff, clear coat all of this stuff yesterday. So we flipped it all over, painted that all white, and then the staircase all got painted white today. So this has 2 coats on it. And then all of the stairway system, which we can start putting in as long as this stuff looks good tomorrow. So as long as this all looks good tomorrow, this can go in. And this stuff, I think, actually needs another coat. We'll probably do another coat of this tomorrow. But we need to get some more paint and some more things just to finish that up. But tomorrow, Steph's coming, Matt's coming back, and they're going to do the ceiling tomorrow because we got it clear coated today. So they can finish up the ceiling in there. And then we can start installing all of this little bits and pieces and start closing this house up. It's getting really close. Tomorrow we're going to Texas too. My wife and I, Heather, are going to Texas to go to the Tiny House Jamboree, so you'll be able to see some videos from that. And I think that's it. That's it for today. So thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe or like our stuff. That's great if you want more Tiny House talk.